Uplist copy.
Hey, Return to Glory podcast. Man, it's been a few weeks. Hunter Zarbanicki, Austin Rose, Dakota Freetag. A lot has happened, a lot going on. We were just talking before. I'm freaking scrambling. It's going to be a fire off as quick as we can here. I got food making in the air fryer. You're going to probably hear that go off in a couple of seconds. Dak just got his wisdom teeth pulled last week.
I'm jealous of whatever you're making in that air fryer.
Can you open your mouth all the way, Dak? What's your what's the status? Oh, okay, that's not bad. When I get my wisdom teeth out, I couldn't open my mouth for like a month.
My bottom left tooth is killing me, but other than that, it's not too bad.
Okay, I'm glad that's a pen. I thought what you were holding was a syringe.
No,
like what are you shooting yourself up with?
No,
Austin, life's been normal. Right for you.
Just busy, you know. I was disappointed that we kept pushing out the pod. I really wanted to pod after that first week of the tournament because my bracket was whoo, and then it was just a house of cards and came tumbling down. But man, I started out warm.
Yeah, it's been what, 3 weeks I think since we've last potted, or more than that.
We haven't potted since the March Madness started.
Nope.
So Austin, your bracket was hot. Mine was hot, and I had a chance to win the pool because I had Houston. A couple of pools I've in. I was doing so well. Houston, yeah, I love you, Kelvin Sampson. Couldn't quite get her done, but I was doing really well in the one bracket that I put time into, which usually is never the case. I don't think I've ever had a good bracket like this that I've thought about. I've been telling people that usually I'm horrible, and the random ones that I auto generate do really well. But not this year. This year was the exception, and I kind of picked chalky, and that's the way it went for the tournament. And it paid off, but not literally because Houston didn't win, so I just didn't even get in the top money. That's
unfortunate. Yeah, I was ranked 1,000th on ESPN after the first two rounds, and I didn't go super unchalky. There's a lot of 2 seeds, but my 2 seeds fell apart.
Yeah, I started out great in the beginning, first rounds, and then just completely fell apart. I think I had 23% right, and then something like 40%. It was terrible after that.
Freaking Calipari, I'm a firm believer. Always pick against him in a tournament because he's a bad coach. Good recruiter, bad coach. Give him the first round, he'll lose the second round. Of course, he knocks off St. John.
I know we're not talking about the most important topic on a Nebraska sports podcast right now, but we'll get the NCAA tournament talk out of the way. I thought overall, I am very satisfied and happy with the tournament, how it went. I know a lot of people they like the Cinderellas, they like madness, they like buzzer beaters. We got a couple of those. These last Final Four games were great. Here's the thing. If you're a committee, you did your job right. If all the 1 seeds made it, you picked the 4 best teams. They'll lead the top of every bracket, and almost all the 2 seeds as well, besides 1 3 seed. You did your job as your committee. You're feeling pretty dang good. And it led to some good basketball games, especially in the Final Four. All 3 of those games lived up to expectations with how good those teams are. And yeah, I have no complaints. I'm not one that needs to see Cinderellas. I actually like good teams playing good teams in the, Sweet 16, Elite 8 and beyond versus having a 10 seed in there. While it's kind of cool, but then having a 10 seed go getting blown out later on. Yeah.
If you're going to have your Cinderella, Calipari was a good Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, this is a face we know in a new setting. It was good. I did not watch as much of it as I have in the past, partly because I was saving my basketball for, the Crown tournament. But it was good. I was disappointed. I really liked watching. I'm not a Duke fan, but you know what?
Oh.
I was disappointed that they didn't make the championship, but the way they lost that's going to be an eternal, everyone's always going to remember that when Duke lost to Houston.
See, okay, I'll get to the tournament here, but that Duke Houston game, I'm so mad. I took a pain pill, fell asleep in 5 seconds, so I missed it. I woke up.
Those pain medications are they're pretty nice. It's pretty good sleep on those things.
Sometimes they knocked me out, sometimes they didn't. That time it knocked me out. I was hoping to keep me up, but I woke up as that last Duke shot was going in, and my eyes were so messed up, I thought it went in. And I fell right back asleep. So I thought it was OT that night, but woke up next morning, it wasn't. But I thought the first 2 rounds of the tournament were not good at all. Like, there was not many close games in those first 2 rounds. But then I'm with you. I like the blue bloods are like not Cinderellas, basically making it past those 2 rounds, because then we got great games from there. I mean, this Final Four and championship is probably one of the best there's been.
Like I said, I loved it. I probably was more into the tournament this year than any other year, just from wanting to watch good basketball. And a lot of these teams, and I love defense, no matter if it's football, basketball, whatever sport. A lot of these teams have some very tough defensive type-minded coaches. Now, the team that won it was the team probably with the best offense and the most explosive offense in Florida. But they also obviously work their asses off on defense as well. Yeah, like I said, overall, like, I give it an A tournament. I really do. Just the beginning rounds, yeah, you like to see some people do. It is what it is. Like, it's cool those mid-major teams and them can pull off a 12-5, which I guess McNeese only won.
That's what makes it exciting. No one,
Right.
if every top seed won, that you wouldn't care, but you don't want them to win every game. You want them to win that first game, and then it's like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah,
Poor performance by Big Ten teams, though.
Yes.
I was looking at this before. You forget how many times Florida could have lost this tournament. Four straight games.
Round.
4 straight games. Yeah, I can't remember who they played their first round. I think they probably killed them. But
yeah.
Anyway, but UConn they should have probably lost to, for sure. Texas Tech, and then Duke, or not Duke,
not Duke.
Florida, who they
Michigan State.
Michigan.
No, Florida beat Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, but what were the 4 teams that they were trailing to?
It was UConn, Texas Tech, Houston, and I can't remember the 4th one. But they should have lost all 4 of those games, and they just found a way at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. But I agree. Like, Florida was – all these games kind of were that way. A lot of them were. That's what made it kind of cool. Like, you know, did the best team win? I guess. I mean, they're the one that beat everybody else, but there were so many good – like, the stat that I saw that amazed me was the KenPom, like, top 10 rated teams in the history of the KenPom ratings in the last, 20 years. 4 of the top 10 were the Final Four teams this year. Like, just from a efficiency standpoint on what they do on both sides of the ball.
They're good teams, man.
Good teams. Like, it was good basketball. And like we said, the Final Four lived up to it. Guys, we have failed as a podcast because we just spent 10 minutes talking about random bullshit when Nebraska are the de facto champs. Like, holy cow. We could talk about this for probably 2 hours in itself.
I'm dying to know. My brother listened to our pod. He was very upset with your takes on Fred Hoiberg at the end of the season.
So here's the thing. I was end of the year. I was deflated. And so, yeah, we want to talk about Fred to start. Let's talk about it. I was very concerned, like a red flag. We are not playing hard for Fred anymore. Like, towards the end of the year, we failed as a program the last 3-4 weeks of the season by not beating teams that we should have beat. Lost a lot of close games, got blown out in some games. And I'm just like, crap. Like, I don't know that this team wants to play for Fred anymore. And I think I did say it, and I agree with the take. Like, if we would have went out against Arizona State, who I didn't even know how bad they were at the time, 13-18 or 19, whatever their record was, it was not good, and would have lost that game and got beat, my opinion would not have changed about Fred. That would have basically proven what I suspected or what I thought was happening. Here's the thing: what happened, though? It went the complete opposite. And watching us play in their crown, and I'll caveat it with this: is the crown the NCAA tournament? No. Are these teams in the crown, are they necessarily quote unquote good? Probably not. But guess what?
But they're real teams. They're not.
Again, what your definition of good is? They're not NCAA tournament teams. Boise State was probably the closest bubble team that we got.
Yeah.
There are a lot of injured players in some of these teams, or opt-outs, transfers, whatever you want to call it. I get all of that. Like, I totally understand that argument. And maybe people say, "Why are we getting excited over a?" That's the pessimistic. And Austin, you probably thought I was going to have that view potentially.
I don't know what I did not have it. I had no idea what you were coming.
My thought with this whole Crown thing, you have an opportunity to go play. And once you agree to go play as a competitor of any program, of a team, if you're playing for Fred, if you're Fred, go out and win the damn thing, no matter who you're playing. If you're playing the Sisters of the Blind and Deaf, or if you're playing Duke, like, go out and compete and try to win every game possible. And we did that for 4 straight games. And again, I don't care what you want to say about the quality of the other team. I'm going to say that Crown was a better field than the NIT, and I think that's a pretty common take. Just in general, the NIT looked to get a lot of the smaller to mid-major type teams, where there are a lot of more power conference teams. Now, were they the best? No, because they're in the NCAA tournament. But like, this is what best you can do, right? With the situation that you were given, you elected to play in it. Okay, that's the first thing, and that would have been very disappointing if we didn't. I think Fred made that comment. I'm glad we chose to play in this tournament. Like, yay, once you choose, now you're in. And now let's see what program, what kind of competitors, what the motivation level is of everyone in the program. And that proved that it was all there. And we came out winning the Crown Championship. Like, bottom line, that we did the best we could in this tournament. We're one of very few teams in the country to play your last game and win it of the season.
Incredible that we're Crown champions. We've won the NIT and we still have yet to win a tournament game. Absolutely incredible stat. And then who's the real winner here? I mean, you go to the tournament, you lose, the second, third round, you don't get any cash. They got $300K. Almost incentive to not make the tournament. I'd rather be the bubble, win that $30K.
That's a great conversation. Like, that is something that, now we need to win our first tournament game. Don't get me wrong. We need to get to that.
Yeah, I know.
That's number one. But
as a player, it's like, well, would I rather be a chance to win 300,000 or probably lose? Like, if you're on the bubble, it's like, I don't know. It'd be kind of nice to not be in like those first 4 in, or last 4 in, I should say.
And I'll say that until we freaking get a win, because we need to win one.
That's true. No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely on the make the tourney and win train, but it's just an interesting dynamic.
So at least they came out and fought, because you see a lot of other teams that, like, when they don't like a coach, they don't fight for their coach at all. So at the end of the season here, they came out, fought. I mean, it was like it wasn't a massive tournament, but it was still a good thing they came out. Now they start out in the Arizona State game like they did at the end of the year there. You thought, yeah. Oh boy, well, this same team, and then found a way at the end. And you might have found a star, Kale Jacobson.
Well, I'll pause on that. I don't want to get into that yet. But I think this format and the talk of the tournament, because there's a big storyline with some of the players here, is, the money, the prize money, and what that means, I guess, for these players. I can't remember who it was, if it was Bryce or Joanne. One of the guys said it. It wasn't like it's all or nothing for this money type of pep talk when they're thinking about it, but it's a nice added bonus. I don't know what the split is or how they're divvying that up. I don't know.
I mean, when they won the semifinals game, Joanne was, the whole of the game. Like, let's not pretend like it was lost on him.
He should. And so, yeah, the tournament is it's new. It's brand new, right? Nobody knows really what it was and what it is yet.
No one was there. I mean, that's
very good. I don't anticipate people probably to go. No one goes to the NIT games either, besides your fans, right? Nebraska fans took that place over. Okay, I am going to go off on a little tangent here. I thought it was hilarious. I've never seen anything like it. Did you guys watch the Georgetown game?
No.
And did you see what fans you guys are?
I was busy.
There was a Nebraska fan that sat right next to Ed Cooley.
Yes,
on the bench.
I did see that.
3/4 of the game, and it was just incredible. And so, to the background story, it's an NBA arena or location type of thing. So, kind of like I don't know, however they had it set up. So there's 4 seats right beside the scorer's table on both sides for fans to sit at, and then there's like a little break, and then there was the bench. Well, on Nebraska side, we weren't using those 4 seats. And then eventually 4 guys did come sit down there that were in like generic business clothes, like neither team. On the other side, there was one Husker fan, and I heard his name on some other podcast, but he sat there, and the Georgetown coaches in the meantime kind of were just using that as an extension of their bench. In addition to where Ed Cooley, their head coach, was sitting. And there are several pictures of him sitting right next to Ed Cooley. And like we would hit a 3 and he would just be like clapping. And there were guys, it was the best thing ever. Like if you're that fan, I don't know how you're supposed to react. But it was, I thought that was so funny. Like I was just picturing trying to coach a basketball game and there's a random fan from the other team just sitting in the middle of your bench, like as you're like coaching.
Incredible.
It lasted for so long until finally someone from the tournament site came up and said, "Hey, would you want to switch these 4 other guys to the other side so you can be with him?" And he's like, "Okay, yeah." So he did.
Incredible. Awesome. I wish if I didn't have things going on, I definitely would have potentially, because there's a Spirit Airline. They do a Thursday, Sunday flight out of Omaha. Man, that would have been a tempting flight.
Mm-hmm.
But because the tickets were hella cheap. I mean, you could have sat right behind the scores table for freaking
most games were 90-10 Nebraska fans, if not more. And and I don't know if those are Nebraska fans that traveled. There probably were a handful, but we also just have fans kind of scattered throughout the country too. So like it was pretty cool. I think it was the season 3 to tie it in the championship game. There's a picture I kind of saw floating around on social media that the Husker fans just went up and went nuts.
Yeah.
It was neat. Like it was so loud in there too, the Go Bigger. It's cool. I mean, the fan base, it was like everything was built up for so long now outside of volleyball, but built up for so long of just frustration with like the basketball and football teams specifically of like, God, we just can't win anything. We're cursed. And we just were able to let it all go. And when we kind of had that game won and we're coming back. And so, again, not that fans deserve anything. We deserve nothing because we're fans, but it was a neat moment, I think, for all of the Husker Nation.
And I mean, honestly, like the whole tournament, you go back, it really wasn't, I mean, outside of the start, and then there was a brief moment in the championship game where you're like, uh-oh. We played well. Like there wasn't like a stretch of frustration where I was like, oh my gosh, this freaking team. But it was good. Yeah. And then, I mean, we're going to talk about some players.
Do it.
Raleigh Wooster, done.
Okay. So not that we want to talk about Raleigh, but
I want to talk about Raleigh.
So that was a lot of people that I've talked to, their least favorite player because of what, and I do think he had part of the senior leadership piece, which is why he played a lot. But was he there? I don't even know if he was there. I don't think I ever saw him.
I never saw him.
Yeah.
I didn't either. So he doesn't play. So in steps, not right away to start, but first game, Arizona State, in steps Cale Jacobson.
Who didn't play at all this year.
At all. I mean, I think the stat was like, I saw someone like he scored 8 total points the entire year, including mop-up time.
Yeah.
And yeah, like didn't play at all, right? Steps in and game 1 happens, and our best 5 to end that Arizona State game did not involve any of our bigs. We were playing Sam, Cale, Connor, Bryce, and Juwan. That was our best 5 that played the last like 9 minutes. No Berke, no Mia, no Morgan. And those 5 were the ones that finished out that first game. I mean, who could have even predicted or thought that, right? Like it's amazing to be honest. But that was our best.
I could decide that like just a product of like we're not playing Big Ten games anymore. We don't need the size, or if it's just like Fred's kind of been like the fuck it, like all right, let's see what happens, and then it worked.
Well, a little bit of it. Go ahead, Dak.
Or is it more your bigs are just not good? Like Burke has been awful since that. He was terrible again this tournament. Mia, you know what you're going to get from him. He's awful defensively. I actually like Morgan a lot, so I won't say anything bad about him. But yeah, your bigs aren't very good. I think that's the main part.
I think it's very matchup dependent. Arizona State was not big inside. Their big, I believe, if I remember the game right, was a freshman, skinny guy. That wasn't that much of an impact, right? And so I think when we got to we went on our little run in the second half against Arizona State, and we saw who that lineup was. Fred's like, well, I guess we'll play these 5. And then it kept working and kept working and kept working to the point that you're like, that was interesting. So then the next 3 games, Cale Jacobson enters the starting lineup and plays, I believe, besides Bryce, the most minutes in game 2 against Georgetown, and finishes starting and playing very, very well. And that also was at the demise. Like Barricade, that last game against UCF, he didn't play. He might have played the last minute of the first half and then played a little bit in the second half. He didn't play much. Morgan came in and was the big guy when we needed one. You're right. Big Ten, big men are very different than the teams we played. So I do think you still need, especially defensively. But here's the thing. Cale proved he can guard pretty much any position as well, including big men. You're guarding it differently, right? You're not banging them. You're more fronting them, being underneath them, small guys, kind of the Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson on Kevin Durant type of comparison where you're just underneath them all the time. And played so well, right? Like you want to give an MVP out to the tournament as far as what you didn't expect coming in. I mean, Cale Jacobson, like, come on.
Obviously, yeah.
That was impressive. And I mean, he definitely deserves the conversation. And moving forward with Cale, I don't know. Like he might have earned himself, a starting spot at a smaller Division I school somewhere. And that's, I'm not saying he's not starting here next year because it's probably a chance. He did the last few games here, but with the portal and everything that we will talk about, who knows? But Cale, deservedly, if a Nebraska guy walk on that just earned his spot in a big way. Very big part of this Crown Championship.
It was wild. It's just one of those things where I just don't know. I just want to know what Fred was like. Okay, now we'll use him. Like he was there the whole year. I mean,
I don't, man. As a guy like that, you don't know until it's weird. Yeah, I think he had respect for him because he did get put in some. He was the next man up, and what's funny, he's kind of a point guard. Played a lot of it towards the end here. With his size, maybe you worry a little bit about, pressure and all of that. Ulis, he had a couple of decent moments in the Crown that we kind of haven't seen, but I've never been a big Aaron Ulis guy, which is why I've always thought Raleigh's a better option because Ulis, I'm like, nope. Like at least Raleigh's a little bit bigger, thick-bodied, like has a little more, I think, leadership and demand and control on the court. So I've never been a big Ulis guy, and I mean, Cale pretty much just leapfrogged him in this tournament. So, like again, going into next year, point guard wise, I think we got our guy. Again, talk about transfer portal here in a second. But yeah, shout out Cale.
Also, shout out Bryce and Juwan, getting go out on a good note. Good. I mean, Bryce had the most points in the season for Husker, passing James Palmer Jr. Had to think about that name real quick. JPJ.
What's nice about these tournaments is you can go out and try different stuff like that with like Cale and all that because you're not gonna roll that out in the middle of the Big Ten season. Like, say this term doesn't happen, Cale goes to transfer somewhere, no one gives a crap right now. But now you kind of want to keep him.
And now people want him.
Yeah, now you want to keep him. So that's about probably the best thing you can get from this turn. And who knows if he stays, he probably won't start next year here, but he could go now. Now he's got maybe he could.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big decision for him. Austin, you mentioned Bryce and Juwan. I think we more than a shout out goes out to those guys. I don't know what more than a shout out is. Kale gets a shout out. These two guys, like, I will say Bryce Williams was one of, and Gus Johnson just confirmed everything that I thought about Bryce and his broadcasting during the crown of our games on Bryce Williams. He was one of the most enjoyable players for me to watch from Nebraska because Bryce was the guy, right? This year especially. And we talked about it going into the year where like Bryce needs to be the guy. Like last year, with Casey, you got Rank, like Bryce was kind of also there. Sometimes he was the number one option. Like this year, like, nope, Bryce need to be the guy. He was the guy this year, led the Big Ten in scoring. But the way he did it, and I think it was Fred that said it, he's a four-way scorer. And, 3-level scorers, you got, the mid-range game, you got obviously 3-point shooting, getting to the rim. The fourth one is free throws. Like Bryce, everything he did, though, was always so calm, cool, collected. Bryce Williams, like, it was never about him. He never seemed flustered. He never really got too excited. Like, he just was the steady constant on this group. And, I mean, I was so glad he got the opportunity to break that record, too. Like, he's been one of the most fun, like, level-headed players that I've seen at Nebraska since I can remember.
Right. He's not, you never got frustrated. Like, he scored a lot of points, but you weren't frustrated in the same way when like Teddy Allen was getting a lot of points.
I never once, you could think, oh my God, Bryce, what are you doing? Like, why are you
had that?
That was so shitty. Like Juwan Gary, I'll say it. There are times where like in the year, especially late, where he would go in and throw up crap. Like, Juwan, quit doing that crap. Like, that's not you. Bryce just always, again, just everything about him. So fun to watch. So I wanted to talk, say that about him. And then Juwan, just a straight dog, got MVP of the crown. Defensively and his hustle, energy, his emotion, kind of the opposite of Bryce, right? Every team needs a guy like that on their team, especially on the defensive end. And Juwan is everything in that and some. Offensive rebounding specifically and defensive rebounding, he always is around the ball, always knows where it's at. Loose balls, he's always near it. And then he's solid enough to make open shots, right? Juwan is not the best shooter. Everybody would agree to that. But gosh, he makes big-time shots when you need him. I mean, even just to start the game on Saturday or Sunday, he hit the opening shot of the game. Like, he just steps up in big moments. The rebound, the drive, offensive rebound finish in the Boise State game he was incredible as well for the crown and also worthy and deserving of that MVP. Like, those two guys are special, right? And they're going to be very, 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 very difficult to replace. They've also both, and Juwan specifically, but they both gave everything to the program coming back for another year, their senior year. Like, they easily could have entered the portal, but they wanted to do it here. I think that says a lot. Again, going back to the Fred thing, kind of what they're trying to build. So yeah, those two, like, A+, awesome, very
Gonna
much.
Gonna miss him.
Gonna need something to replace him because, boy, you don't have much behind him right now. But
We've already got that something. Well,
yeah, but all these portal players coming in. Hunter thinks he got the next stud.
I don't know. So portal guys, still going to be moving parts. We're going to miss. We need a scorer, a guy that can create what Bryce was. Pretty much is what I'm talking about. Besiegion's going to be around. He can shoot it, right? And the big stat that I think everybody was bragging about was that none of the Huskers have entered the portal. Well, one, we were still playing, so I was like, hold your horses. But a lot of them were reaffirming, like Connor Besiegin came out and said, I'm coming back. Rank confirmed he's back. And that's just a thing everybody's laughing and making fun of. Oh my God, we have to literally post about staying at, yes, it's just a time we live in. Like, everyone's doing it. That's the world we live in. So for right now, like, it looks like most everyone's staying from this last year's team, except for Goggles, Gavin Griffiths, which is not surprising. He wasn't even suited up for the last game. Like, Dak's laughing his ass off right now.
Yeah, boy, that was a big pickup. I called that one out right away. He's done, right? No one's gonna pick him. SEC maybe.
He'll play on like
JUCO?
Illinois, no, like an Illinois State team or something.
I don't know. He's terrible.
He can shoot.
You won't miss him. As long story short.
No, so he's out. The rest, kind of seem like they're still around. A really good follow out there on Twitter that I get a lot of my stuff from Nebraska basketball now is called Pavelka's Fat Uncle. Is on Twitter, but he's a big Nebraska basketball junkie, and has done a good job of just updating on the portal and kind of piecing our roster together for next year, what it could look like, pieces coming in, going out. So it looks like guys coming back. Bryce Jawan, Braxton Mia, I believe Raleigh gone. And then, the other guys, the younger guys are coming back. And then here's the additions. And I get to help me with the one name. But Price Sanford comes from Iowa. And he's the first one that committed from the portal, and it was likely to happen. He's going to be a shooter. Yeah, I think he's got some ability to finish, kind of like Connor does, right? Like he's not the like an only shooter type of guy. Like all those guys that can score at the rim if they need to. But he's going to be another Connor Essegian type player that can shoot it. He's not the really good one. He's a younger one. He's a sophomore from Iowa, but I think he scored average about 10 a game this year. He scored over 10 both times we played him. Again, very good pickup. Is he the level the Bryce Williams? No, I don't think he's going to be that in my mind.
I thought you were going to read the next one off.
No, I was going to see any comments on it.
No, I mean, it was early. We're just getting more shooters. We'll see if it pans out. We've gotten a lot of shooters in the past that don't really pan out. Plus, he's an Iowa player, and our Iowa players haven't panned out. So I'm not super excited, but we do need more wing-like players. So that'll help with that depth. With Rank coming back, I think those will become more valuable because he's much more of a point forward type of big. He's much better at sharing the ball than any of our current bigs are. Arguably, he'll be our best passer. I'm trying to think of who's going to lead the team in assists, and it very well could be Rank Mast. From the last time we saw him play, at least.
You always need shooters. I mean, the only one you have right now you can count on, I'm not even counting the guys not come back, but is Essegian, really.
Yep.
And even Essegian kind of struggled there during our little lull.
Very hot and cold.
But when he's hot, he's hot. And his numbers, you compare him to Casey's from last year, like that they weren't too far off. And I actually think at times he was actually outperforming Casey from a percentage standpoint. So
and a little bit of a better defender because he's just bigger than Casey.
Yeah, and that was a weird thing is why he never got in the starting lineup too was puzzling. I think his defense is his hang up, right? I never saw him too bad, but then there were moments I'm like, oh, okay, that's why maybe he's starting. So yeah, I think adding another guy like this is only going to help. And Dak, you're right. Like Nebraska basketball has struggled so much with getting guys like this in our program.
We keep thinking we find them.
Correct. And so yeah, hopefully he pans out. Looks like Essegian. I would say he's for the most part played his part. And being a spot up shooter, like when he starts shooting, you can see how teams change their defense to chase him. You have to draw more attention to him. That opens other things up. That's what Casey did so well for our program last year and the couple years before that. Like he drew attention, and that's what Essegian would do when he was on fire. Like the team, I think it was Georgetown, started zone. The second Essegian came in, they're like, nope, we can't run our zone anymore because once Essegian gets open, he's hitting an open shot. So huge. Sanford, I think that's a good addition, very good addition. Second one that I don't know a whole lot about besides I'm looking at his name now. The first couple times I've seen it, I've just known him as a Central Michigan guy because I didn't want to try to say his name. Ugnius Jarosuvicius.
There it is.
From Central Michigan. averaged about, I believe it was around 15 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, all MAC player, first teamer, and
6'10"
forward. Like he's good. He's going to be a big key piece, I think, to add to the rank mass. They're going to be around.
You like the size. I mean, it makes you feel good. He's competed at a high level at the D1 level. Like he's all MAC. Like it's not nothing.
And I'm picturing him being like an Andrew Morgan who's also leaving and graduating, like an extra, like a kind of a body like that. Like to me, what I've seen, he's and I liked Andrew Morgan the most out of all of our posts, like you said, Dak. And he seems to be that guy that's going to fill in that role. And potentially could be even better. I mean, as far as scoring the ball than Morgan was.
It's going to be sweet to see him play next to Rank. Like, I mean, those are just two solid offensive bigs. I'm excited about it. You have those two, and then you have, a season, and then hopefully Samford pays out, and then you have, I don't know, DeMarcus Lawrence or Cale Jacobson or, Sam Hoiberg coming in for your guard position.
It'll be nice to have some depth on the big. It seems like the Huskers always just have terrible depth in the bigs. And you could probably, we'll see how it works out, but play them side by side even because Rank can step out into 3.
Right.
The other guy, I have no idea if he can shoot a 3 or not. I'm guessing not the way he looks, but
I don't think so. From what I've seen, here's what'll be interesting. Like you said, with Berke staying as well, like I'm curious how that rotation will look because, Hoiberg's offensive systems have been more of a point forward, which is ranked kind of the definition of what that is. Andrew Morgan was not, neither was Mia, but they played that spot occasionally when they had to. We really have not. I mean, Berke was in a lot with kind of those guys, but the more that the season went on, Berke became more of the big man, right? Like it was hard to play Berke with Mia or Berke with Andrew Morgan. It didn't work out well the way our offense was designed and was running. So, like, if we were to play them together, our offensive system is going to look different. It just will because we don't typically play two bigs together often. So we'll see how that all plays out. It's probably more next year conversation with Jerusavicius and Mast and Buchten Gel as kind of our big guys.
We might have some of the best names. I mean, they're all foreign. Our posts are going to be all foreign-born players. I mean, isn't Berke, Rank, and whoever that other guy from MAC, they all have to be. There's no way they were born in America.
No, none of them. I don't think.
We can't get them in states, but we'll get them from the other country. They don't know how bad Nebraska is. Hey, come here.
And I don't know what you need to have Berke forget they had the ankle injury, but something you need to just let him forget he ever had that because, God, he was awful after he came back from that.
He even was bad in the tournament. Hey, I was not. What I was disappointed the most with him is he lost his interior game. Like, he's never a good shooter, and he thought he was, but he kept trying to, and it was like, quit shooting the fucking ball. Like, but yeah, I think he's better inside. He's gooder inside early on in the season. I remember him making some moves going to his left. I'm like, okay, this is good. Like, and then he's kind of a guard, and then he just kind of, shit the bed after that injury.
You know, a player's falling apart when he can't even make free throws. Like he can do anything.
Yeah. Last one, Austin mentioned him earlier, but Jamarcus Lawrence coming back was at Rhode Island last year. Coming home, as his Twitter announcement said. Here's the thing with Jamarcus Lawrence. Towards the end of his time at Nebraska, he started to become more of the scorer and being more aggressive because he was forced into that role. Kind of like, I mean, not that Cale was forced in, but kind of to step up. Like, I can't remember everything that was going on with that team, but he did a pretty good job of doing it. And then when he left, we're like, dang it. Like that guy had a lot of potential and he was young. Well, he's coming back. And I believe he played fairly well at Rhode Island. Again, a double-digit score. I think he's going to be a good, solid point guard for this group that's going to still need one of those guys. I mean, again, Sam, Kale stays around. Those guys can play point, but I think having more of a true traditional point guard, even this year when someone does with Raleigh or Ulyss, it
You
was
just need
nice
someone to get you out of those scoring slumps. We go in so many. You just need one guy who can just steady the ship. Be like, all right, I'm gonna get you an easy bucket. We don't need to do anything crazy.
And this year, I thought Fred was actually very good at designing our sets and systems to where the ball was in Bryce's hands or Jawan's on an ISO or a Morgan low post touch. Like it wasn't point guard based. And I think when you have more movement, that only helps your scoring. Jamarcus Lawrence will be more of a scoring point guard than what we had this year because we really had none this year. But I think that's the biggest one in my mind, the biggest addition. There's going to be more pieces, guys. That's not it. I think we're at 12 roster spots right now, including some of the freshmen that are coming in, and Nick Janowski, Braden Frager, and then Quentin Rhymes. We still got some more roster spots. There's going to be some more moving pieces still, but it's a good start, a good beginning build to this team for next year, and it's going to be writing off a lot of momentum, right? Like Hoiberg's in year 7. They're going to be year 7. Again, as we started the pod, I think some people are going to say, this guy, we just got to give him more time. Got to give him more time.
Back-to-back 21 seasons.
At some point, okay, what's our goals here? What's our objectives? Like, I think everybody would agree winning a goddamn tournament game. And this year, we didn't do that. We didn't make it a tournament. We fell apart at the end. It was so disappointing the way it ended the season. Didn't even make the Big Ten tournament. Like, whatever. But, again, given the opportunity, the boys rallied around him, and the program won what they could in the postseason by winning the Crown Championship. So that tells you something, that gives you momentum. It gives you hope for the program.
It definitely takes the offseason heat off.
It does.
If you go out and you lay a stinker round 1, like all offseason, it's like Fred Hoiberg's on. Like there's articles of 10 coaches on the hottest seats.
I would have joined it. And been very strong with that statement and what I would have thought if that would have happened. Now, again, you pull me back in. Like, great, we're here. I still think, though, you have to continue to show growth and progress. By winning the Crown, I think you showed that. I'm not saying next year's NCAA tournament winner bust year, but
you got to at least make the tournament. It's pretty close to.
It's pretty close to that for Fred.
At least making the tournament.
And especially we said it in football. Look, Todd Golden, like Florida Gator. Look at his track record the past 10 years and look where he's been. He's 39 years old, wore his hat backwards, receiving the goddamn trophy. Like, he is a guy, again, that I've said for football too. Like, if things don't work out, I'm tired of hiring these big name. I know it's not gonna make people happy. These big name coaches that have proved themselves at other places and they have this track record. I want a young guy that doesn't give a shit about the money. He's gonna work his ass off. And you know what? It might fail in a couple of years, but at least you got a guy that is so motivated for the right reasons. I'm not saying Rule and Hoiberg aren't, but when you take money out of the equation and you're just a young coach trying to build your name, Nebraska basketball is not an end destination for a coach, unfortunately. Now, maybe it is for Fred because it's home. But for most people, it's not going to be. Husker football, maybe.
Definitely.
Could be. So that's my whole point is, again, Fred's did well at Iowa State, obviously as a coach in the NBA. Like, you got 7 years here. I mean, we're not going to keep you here for 12 or 13 years if you make it to the NCAA tournament once every 5 years and lose that game. Like, that's probably not the expectation and standard that most people are going to be okay with in the long term. Now, keep making people money and winning the crown every year. I mean, I guess, I don't know. People might think that's a good thing, but that's where I'm at with Fred. And I think, again, props, great job. Like, winning the crown is a really big thing.
I would say most Nebraska basketball fans, the desired expectation isn't necessarily you're like a tournament or bust team where it's like, we don't make the tournament this season was bad. I think it's more of like every other year we make the tournament, and then there's going to be a couple of 3-year stretches where we make it, and then 1 year we make a deep run, and then eventually we hopefully win it all. but I think that's kind of the expectation. And so Fred, he made the tournament last year, won the crown this year. So, you kind of got to make the tournament the next year to get to that level of expectation of like, all right, we're flirting with the dance every year. And then one of these years we'll do, we'll go on a deep run. We'll, make the Sweet 16 and maybe the Elite Eight.
I would say that same expectation, and maybe not expectation, but thought process goes with every kind of. I think there's a lot. Now Nebraska's probably on the bottom edge of this grouping of basketball team. Like Oklahoma, I think is probably around in that grouping of like, are they making it every year? Probably not, but they they want to make it once every 2 out of every 3 years, and one of those years maybe have a chance to make a Sweet 16 run. We're obviously not a blue blood, but there's several schools, and there's probably 40 of them that are in that little grouping. That's kind of what you want, and unfortunately, we're probably at the bottom of that because we made the tournament, only once or twice in the past 12, 13 years.
I mean,
but
this is the happiest the Nebraska basketball fans have been in April since 1998 or whatever when we won the NIT.
Well, I'll tell you. I think I sent it to you. Did I send it to you?
Most wins in April.
Most wins in April, baby.
I don't know if I remember that.
Here we go. I didn't send it to you.
I saw the tattoo. That was the last thing I saw. It was your crown tattoo.
I can't find the tweet. Damn it.
That's right.
Well, anyways, it was most wins in the past. There it is. Most college basketball wins in April since 2002. Ready? UConn 10, North Carolina 8, Kansas 5, Baylor 4, Duke 4, Florida 4, Villanova 3, and Nebraska 3.
Goddamn right.
What are you talking about? Not a blue blood.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah. Good year for Nebraska basketball. Spirits are high, man. And we feel good about next year already.
Now let's rewind after the Iowa game. If you had been saying this, what you put the odds on April? What is today? 8th, saying good year for Nebraska basketball after that game.
Low.
Yeah.
27%.
I mean, I had just the way things have gone. I'm like, this team's folding, like they're done, and we didn't, even before the Iowa game, I'm like, oh gosh, like this is not good.
It happened twice this year. We thought we were folding and done.
Guys, we at one point, I believe, were like a 98% chance to make the tournament on some sites.
Yeah, and then we lost 6 in a row.
Yes, that's just to remind people, not to give people, trauma from when it happened, but that's what happened this year. So for them to respond the way they did and win this again. Was it a good tournament with good teams? Again, whatever you're going to call good. No, they weren't great teams, but that's the opportunity you're given, and we won it. We competed, went out and won. So,
and who was there watching that win? A nice.
Oh, here we go. You brought it up.
You
brought it up. Uh-oh.
Flexing. Not wearing red, but he did have a Husker shirt on.
I was like 95% sure he was going to be in the championship photo.
He brought it up, Austin. Here we go.
Yeah, let's hear what's our Weight Watch. Dylan Weight Watchers here.
Well, so I had the picture here in front of me of him, sitting on the throne with the crown on his head. Guys, I'm gonna say it. We'll see what happens this year. He needs to stay away. All the Husker fans love it. We eat it up. Stay away from the freaking spotlight. I get you're promoting the university and people think that's such a positive thing. I just get so scared he's making it about himself, and it's gonna come off to players in the program. It's all about me. Think about if your other Husker players, it's the Dylan Raiola show. Now, if your play backs it up, hey, bravo. Then it makes it a lot more fun and enjoyable. But it's not like Dylan Raiola was great. It's not like he was an all-star last year. I get he is. Ever since he said he's coming back, it has been all about Dylan at every event. High school to freaking professional. He's been everywhere. Supernova game to Omaha Scott high school games to.
Oh, he went to so many high school basketball games.
He's everywhere. And again, I get that could be support, but I get scared as becoming too much about him and it's not putting the team first. And that this is my not a red flag, but a little orange flag coming out where I'm seeing it. It's coming. Like if shit goes south, this is going to be a big part of it. And I get you want to promote and support the school. I get that. But there's probably a time and place to do it when you can do it. We have not earned the right to do that yet. Like he has not. I don't think he has. Like he wants to. I get it. He's got a big name and a big NIL package. Like bravo.
I don't know, man. If I'm in college, I'm making $6 million. I don't know how much he's actually.
I know. I get
but,
that.
like, I'm flying to Vegas to watch my college basketball team.
I guess. I guess.
That.
I don't think I'm flying to Vegas to watch basketball. But.
You know what I would have liked to see is him to grab the 8 offensive linemen that are going to be with him next year and go do it with him. Like
that's
true. I know he's brought like Emmett Johnson with him to a few games. That's been kind of cool.
Yes, I had the same thought of like he seems to be at all these things by himself or with Emmett.
He's sitting in the VIP section, like wearing purple to the stupid Minnesota game. Like that pissed me off. Like do it with your teammates in a group because once you start making it about yourself, the second things go wrong and there's going to be a ton of adversity in the fall, like guys are not going to have your back as much as they would if you're a team-oriented guy first. And I'm not saying he's not because we don't know that. We're not in the locker room. But that's just the perception it gives off. And you can't tell me some of the players aren't looking at that and going, well, this is Dylan Raiola's team. And again, that could be okay. Like, I like that he let him out of the locker room to start. I didn't mind that because he was very I don't say calm, but very good with the media and his words and the team when he talks to the media. His freshman year, I thought he did a very good job of that. But if you start taking it to a next level, and he had some humility too in the games that he played at, like that's where you start getting the Scott Frost, like it's my way or the highway. I'm arrogant, like start blaming other people. Like that's where Scott started going down that path. And he was the golden child of Nebraska football. Scott Frost was, and he's going to bring everything back. Like now Dylan Raiola is that guy. Like Dylan Raiola is supposed to be the guy to bring Nebraska football back. It's his job. And if you start eating that up and soaking it in, it's going to start have negative. And we do it. It's our media. It's us that put all of it, the crap out there and publicize it. And then it gets blown out of proportion and probably more than it needs to be. But that's the reality of what happens with Nebraska media and why I still think the fans and the media are the problem. I'm done. And you stop.
Counter argument would be, yes, he's in college. Yes, he makes a shit ton of money, but there's a lot of pressure that comes with the job. You might as well reap the benefits while you're also at it. You know?
But that's selfish. That's
not selfish.
It's not selfish, but that's putting yourself above your teammates.
He's not. But in what way is him going to a high school basketball game? How is he putting himself in front of his teammates? In what way is he degrading? He's like, yep, I'm more important than my teammates. He's like, no, I'm gonna go watch a high school basketball game, and everyone cares that I'm at the basketball game.
I just want to go.
He really likes to find the camera.
He does like the camera.
That's my I don't.
All right. I knew you were going to be fired up about him being there.
Stay in the gym.
I'm kind of leaning on Hunter's side. I think he's there to be in the spotlight.
And what Austin's saying is that's okay. He's like, why can't he do that? I'm just saying it from
he can,
and I just think from a perception standpoint, it just continues. It is, and it's not wrong. The message is it's Dylan's team or bust, and like that could be the case. Like now, the comments coming out of spring practice, the very few that I've heard and seen, like it sounds like Jalen Gramstead and him are doing a good job pushing each other. Like that sounds like it's a very good, which we hear that every year. I know, like very good competition between the two. So anyway, that's a lot of Dylan Raiola talk. I think there's probably a whole nother episode that we need to get to about spring practice and talking about the updates in the football season before we officially kind of put a cap on the season 6 of the podcast. Season 6.
Wow.
I think there's discussion there as we get closer to the spring. What are they calling it? Spring day?
Fun day.
But the fun day, events.
Are you guys tailgating?
I'm sure I will be.
We could, yeah. I mean, I don't, I don't see why not.
The 26th? I thought about going up.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go to the games, but
No, I
If I
won't
had
be
to
there.
guess, Lincoln will be like it's a spring game. That's the goal. That's why they're doing it this way. They want to make it still an event even without the game, which I think is completely smart on rules part. Like I like that decision, but that's the city of Lincoln and the Husker program in general still wants to reap the benefits of what the spring game is, and I think they're doing it right. I think there'll still be a good, decent turnout in downtown Lincoln. Volleyball is playing an exhibition game that night at the Devaney Center as well, so that you have that going for you. There's going to be, I'm guessing, some sort of skills thing. So, I mean, it's going to be a day that people have circled in their calendars that are going to pay attention to it, whatever that is. And I mean, I'm already saying I'll probably be out and about.
yeah, it'll be good. I mean, yeah, it'll be different. Not quite as fun as the spring game, but it'll still be good.
Yeah, it'll be a fun day.
That's all Dak's going to say.
How much of it will Dak will remember?
With a
A
deep
lot.
sigh at the end. Deep sigh.
I do love the spring game day. I do.
It is. It's always the one day of the year that we gotta think we have a game day.
Yeah,
Not the fall.
it's the last time till August. So
Okay, last topic, last thing here. It's Masters Week. It's this is one of my favorite. I think I probably say this every year. Stretches of the year where you have March Madness, the Final Four, and then the Masters, and then you jump right into the first round of the NBA playoffs here coming up. Scotty and Rory are the two
It's tough to pick against Scotty.
favorites.
Rory's gonna choke it away like he always does. No way in heck does Rory Mac. He's not gonna win it. I don't know why anyone would put money on it.
Rory needs it for his, Grand Slam majors. Scotty has not won yet this year. I don't think he hasn't won in a while. And the down part with him is that I think he gained like 7 strokes putting the other day and still did not win the tournament, which for Scotty, that's unheard of because he's typically so good at the game. If you had to pick one winner, regardless of the odds, like who you picking?
Scotty. I mean, because I think he's the best golfer right now. I know he's having a little bit of a down stretch, but I do think he's the best golfer.
I'm gonna go Jordan Spieth.
Ooh, a little Masters boy.
Why?
He loves the course. He's been playing. I know he had a bad week last week, or pretty bad, but he's been playing better. I think he loves the course too. He always plays well here.
He does play well at Augusta. I definitely.
And
It's interesting. Out of anybody you could pick, you pick Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
I'm going someone that I think's not getting talked about a lot, but we don't really know what they're doing because I don't think many people pay attention to LIV is what it has been. John Rahm is who I'm taking to win, and he's not the favorite by any means, but he's up there. I just think when Rahm gets going, now Rahm's one of those guys that I always think, here's how Rahm plays. He's either right around the mix the entire weekend, or and then he has a chance to win, or what he does, he plays crappy one of the first 2 days, and then he plays really well Saturday or Sunday, and all of a sudden he ends up 13th. He's going to have to play well all 4 days to win it. Obviously, anybody does if you're at the Masters, but I think this could be a week. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him right now. The pressure's with Rory for sure. Scotty's could go back to back. I don't think and win 3 of the last 4. That hasn't been done. I can't remember the stat I heard in a long time, if ever. I'm going back to back hasn't been done in a long time. Scotty's got that pressure on him. So I don't know. I love Masters Week. It'll be fun Thursday. So
is that it?
Right.
You haven't paused in a month. I feel like But our bowling team, they made the Final Four. I don't know how this shook out. Women's bowling, of course.
I have
I
no
feel like
idea
I'm
on
missing.
that. I know the baseball team. I really don't want. I don't want to talk about them besides their series win against Oregon State. That was awesome. And then you lose and become the worst team in the state to Creighton and UNO.
I'm going to the Creighton UNL game next week.
So, and then what? I think we just won 2 or 3, or maybe I don't remember we won yesterday or not against Rutgers, but it's not been the best year for the baseball team by any means. I think that their chances of even after the Oregon State maybe squeaking into a at-large tournament type berth was up for grabs, but now after you can't lose the way we've lost some of these games and series. So I think only way in is winning the Big Ten tournament, which I'm not going to say is out of the question because the Big Ten is not overly great at baseball.
Yeah.
So get hot at the right time, you get that automatic bid. Softball team is playing well. Jordy's performing as expected, which is very well. And, they're right around that top 25, even sneaking in there for a while. And I don't know if we're still in the top 25. So that got a lot better in the baseball team.
I looked at, there were some softball jerseys on sale, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I get a softball jersey. There's got to be something else.
That's me.
I just had a list. I should have wrote them down. I don't know. Outside of that, obviously NBA Western Conference is crazy. Zach Lowe's podcasting again. Life's good.
Celtics just beat the Knicks.
Who cares?
Prime form.
Oh, I hope they lose.
Porzingis has stayed healthy this whole year. Who knows? But
he was sick for half of it, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he looked like he got a black eye or something. I don't know. He'll break his leg eventually here, but hey, he's healthy right now.
All right. Well, we will be back sometime. Not going to guarantee next week, but
we've been a little spotty,
been busy. We'll try to get a couple more episodes in here.
I'll try not to have a medical issue.
No medical issues for Dag.
Hey, at least he hit his deductible already.
Yeah, I did.
Might as well get your gallbladder out while you're at it.
I can do whatever I want now.
Don't give him any ideas. All right. Crown champs 2025. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.